Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
Welcome back to the show. If you are not yet a David Pakman Show member, this is the time to get the podcast commercial-free, the bonus show, the full 5.5-year archive of programming. DavidPakman.com/Krakatoa to celebrate the winning of Lewis's metal band Krakatoa at the Metal Olympics, which I was at. If you missed that, it was earlier in the show. So DavidPakman.com/Krakatoa, special offer happening there. There is a popular police officer, Rafael Espinoza, who has been found to be an illegal immigrant. He has been a police officer for years. Did you hear about this story, Lewis?
No, I did not.
Oh, good. This is from Anchorage, Alaska. And for years, he was known as Rafael Espinoza. He was widely respected as a good police officer. He was popular among his peers in Anchorage. And it turns out he is really Rafael Mora Lopez. He was in the U.S. illegally. He stole another man's identity, according to officials. And what's incredible is all of his peers say he has an incredible reputation as a hardworking officer. So this really opens up the door. It confirms a lot of things, does it not? It confirms, number one, that this fear that all illegal immigrants are here to do harm certainly is not true. It confirms that even the screening methods that exist, even for police apparently, may not be good enough because it did not turn this up.
Right.
And again, this is a little bit of a different situation because he just took on the identity of someone who is a legal immigrant. So it's more of a mistaken identity case rather than
It wasn't a fabricated identity.
Exactly. Well, right. That's correct.
Yeah.
So, some people are saying, do the 6+ years count for anything? Maybe this is more about the system than the person. He should be allowed to stay. My thought, I really have a hard time getting past the fact that he broke the law. He's supposed to uphold the law. What about the rights of the real Mr. Espinoza? And suppose that this happened to you. Would you just say, well, yeah, he can stay as a police officer. Let's just switch his name back to the real one. It's very hard for me to buy that. I know we'll get emails from people giving me reasons why this is a case where the man should be allowed to stay, but he has committed a crime.
Right.
I wonder if he ever had to check citizenship status of other people or has dealt with illegal immigrants in his police work.
Yeah, he is in Alaska, so probably would not happen as often, as it would in Arizona.
Sure.
But I wonder how this is going to work, considering he's been getting paid, he's been paying taxes. I wonder if that will be a factor that could keep him here.
Why would it be?
If he's been paying into the system, I mean, perhaps in some way.
Plenty of illegals pay into the system when they. I mean, they're not. We know about illegal immigrants that work under the table, but there's many that don't, and they're all paying into the system. I don't think it grants them any kind of better status when they go before an immigration judge.
I mean, can you be paying into the system if you don't even have a social security number?
Well, in other words, I think Mr. Mora Lopez was the one paying into the system. The police officer was paying into the system under the name that he had assumed.
Well, of course, yeah.
Right.
He was using someone's social security number.
Sure. So his own identity, I don't think, has paid into any system. Other than, of course, anytime he goes shopping and pays sales tax, he's certainly paying into the system that way, one could argue.
Yeah, true. But he himself has paid into the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the way that I mentioned.
Right. It's weird.
We'll see what happens with it. I believe that he did break the law. He's going to have to face the consequences of it. And they might be pretty serious because working as a police officer for this long under a fake identity sounds serious to me.
We'll have to keep an eye on it.
Fox News, according to some, is dumping Sarah Palin and I guess arguably campaigning for Donald Trump. I'm not totally sure if this is accurate. There's a clip I want to play for you here. And the argument that's being made is Fox News now is giving Sarah Palin less of a prominent place on the network. She is a contributor. They are very much pushing the fact that Donald Trump is doing very well in the polls. And that's kind of the angle. So I'll play this. I don't know that I actually hear in this clip any kind of wholesale endorsement for Donald Trump. You tell me, Lewis. You tell me what you think. And then we'll talk about it.
Going to start actually looking at his business career, looking at his personal life. A lot of people don't know that he's gone bankrupt several times. You're not going to turn over a failing economy or a struggling economy to someone who can't manage his own affairs better. I think he started out doing this because it was sort of fun and glamorous and he got a lot of attention. But I agree with Ed. This time, before the last election, Hillary Clinton was way out ahead of Barack Obama. It's much too early to consider this a serious candidate.
And yet the word on the street, Tara, is that the Democrats are most fearful of Donald Trump right now.
Okay, so that's basically it.
Is that the word on the street? That's news to me.
Word on the street is Democrats are the most fearful of Donald Trump. I think that that's completely wrong. Democrats should be thrilled if Donald Trump becomes, among all of these politicians and allegedly great people and great potential leaders, if Donald Trump becomes the nominee, given his personal past bankruptcies, so on and so forth, business bankruptcies, and the fact that he has made the birther issue front and center, I don't think Democrats should be afraid of that. I think they should welcome it, to be completely honest.
Well, I think he's just using the birther issue to pick up steam, and he could abandon it at any time and take up real issues.
I don't think it'll work.
I would much rather see Michelle Bachmann or Sarah Palin win the Republican primary.
Well, with regard to Palin and Fox, her share of media coverage went from 51% in November of 2010 to 11% this month. And really, most of it seems to be going to Trump. Trump's media coverage has gone from 1% to 40% in that same amount of time. The perception from many is Donald Trump has replaced Palin as the kind of right-wing darling. And the decline in media coverage has definitely hurt Sarah Palin's poll numbers with Republicans. It's basically been cut in half, from 20 to 10%. Trump's coverage is fueled by all sorts of appearances on channels all over the place. As we know, Palin refuses to appear on any networks other than Fox for interviews, so she actually completely is dependent now on Fox, and they're not giving her as much play.
And if she wants more attention, she's going to have to run for president.
Yeah, well, and I don't think she wants to. I don't think she wants to be president. And I guess some are saying, according to New York Magazine, that Roger Ailes told Sarah Palin, do not post the blood libel video, but Palin did anyway. And that was the beginning of the end, some are saying.
Yeah.
Or the beginning of the decline with Fox News. I believe Sarah Palin is completely done. That's just my sense. I don't know what else to tell you.
We'll see.